I think people who sort of really think, analyze, even without reading this, they understand that there was a Christian priest who used to sometimes come to see Kyabje Rinpoche, but he's a priest in France. I heard he wrote a book because he does a lot of meditation in the mountain. And he wrote a book, I heard, and in the book he says, behind every problem, I see the handprint of ego clinging. So that's from him, analyzing, thinking, then they understand it. So if we can sort of prepare ourselves in this, and then we don't have this much fear, because we all have this fear. So we are sort of ready to see any problem that comes. We don't really have to look for problem, but when a problem comes, then we can prepare ourselves. Okay, next time when problem comes, I'm going to test my mind training. So it's like someone who does mind training properly, I think doesn't have a fear, because any difficult situation, we want to see, okay, I want to try this training of mind. So also here, whenever negative thought arises, then we implement Bodhichitta mind. It says here, and there's also, sort of according to your own capacity, there are different kind of methods to use, deal with these negative emotions. Example, if you have a kind of anger arise in your mind, first thing is we have to recognize, okay, now this anger is coming, so we recognize. Then there is 3 different ways to deal with that. The first is to using antidote against anger. It's the patience work. Patience. By developing patience, then the anger naturally reduces using antidote. Also, if there is anger comes, if somebody makes you, person makes you angry, then because of me, that person sort of create opportunity to create anger. So therefore, you should feel more patience or compassion towards anger. So this is one way of dealing with it. And then another one is like when you get angry, first recognizing sin, and then seeing the default of anger, which is nothing but problem. So with this, my anger, may all the sentient beings will free from the anger. So let's dissolve with my anger. So using again Bodhichitta mind, and let your anger dissolve into it. And then lastly, again, when anger arises, you recognize it. And then look into the anger. Is there any color? Is there any shape? So looking at the anger itself, then anger sort of dissolve into kind of more absolute bodhicitta state of mind. So let's say these are the weapons to protect oneself, dealing with our enemy, which is the negative emotions. So we have the weapons. Now we have to recognize the enemy. If you don't recognize the enemy, and even you have a weapon, then you cannot protect yourself. So anger is quite easy to identify, because it's very strong. Your heartbeat goes faster. The blood goes into your face. If your skin is white, you can see it's become red. So anger is very easy to detect. The most difficult to detect among the negative emotions is one is kind of jealousy. You don't really know when it's coming. Sometimes it can be very subtle. You don't really know. And then behind all the negative emotions is the play of the jealousy. Then other negative emotion arises. So jealousy is one of the emotions difficult to detect. And then the most difficult, I always thought, is pride. Pride sort of comes very, very like a cancer disease. You can never feel it. And by the time you recognize, then you have done lots of problems already created. So the pride can be very subtle and very difficult to detect. So when you have a pride, then you don't see the qualities in others. When you don't see the qualities in others, then you don't respect others. And then you don't feel that you need to learn. So the pride can be very, very tricky. Pride and ego join together, that can destroy you. You can be so proud thinking that I'm not proud. I'm so good because I'm so humble. Actually, you become very proud. I'll share with you one of my experience when I was much younger, 2008 or something. His Holiness Dalai Lama gave Kalachakra, and they invite the head of the different schools to join. I was sent here to represent Kyabje Rinpoche, so I'm supposed to represent the head of the Nyingma. That was in Austria. And my throne is the same as His Holiness Sakyatsezin and the head of the Giluk, the Kyabje Rinpoche. We're all same, equal throne. And that time I was the youngest, and also maybe I was quite handsome. And just sitting there. And I didn't really realize there was nothing in my mind. I didn't really realize. But at one point, Dalai Lama was giving teaching, and suddenly his Holiness stopped. And he laughed, and he told the public, there's 11,000 people, he told the public, just because some of us sitting on a higher throne doesn't mean we are better than other lamas. I felt like a Thai puncher. I felt so low. And I really felt like my throne was like tone, not tone. Feeling, when can I go down? I was feeling really strong feeling. Then I look in the audience, there's so many great teachers there. The Gakar Rinpoche, the one with the prayer wheel, such a great practitioner. And many great lamas, much lower than me, sitting down there. Then I feel embarrassed, started feeling embarrassed. And then started realizing the qualities of those lamas. So I think most important is recognizing, very important. Once you recognize, we have the tools, we have the weapons, 3 different weapons to defend ourselves. The Lojong weapon, most powerful weapon. So if you recognize the thief, if you recognize the enemy, then we can use the weapons. But when you don't recognize the enemy, no matter even you have all these weapons, it's not going to work. So I think this Lojong practice is so precious. I think we have to make our best, all effort to make sure that we implement this practice and continue in our whole life. 제가 세지 냠년진에 땜반 삼조타고 소사 딥종 melon 단체 동나 땜베 세지 냠년 인본주와 지존하는 진실 없이.
The 4th point, applying the practice throughout one's life. May the precious masters grant their blessings so that I may focus upon the essence of the practice throughout my life and always apply the 5 strengths of pure thought and pure deed, gathering merit, purifying obscurations, and making prayers an aspiration.
So Lojong practice is so important, so crucial. By knowing how important it is, I have an uncle who's very good monk. He's a Geshe. Also served Khyentse Rinpoche. This is just to give you an example. Then he died when I was young. He died. So Khyentse Rinpoche asked, how did he die? Then when he was in hospital, and then there's another Rinpoche who was taking care of him. And he told Khyentse Rinpoche, oh, he is very peaceful. Before he died, they remind him, use your Lojong practice. So he said, oh, I'm using Lojong, and I'm focusing on my faith. So don't worry, so he died very peacefully. So when Khyentse Rinpoche heard this story that he died very peacefully practicing Lojong, Khyentse Rinpoche was very, very happy to hear that.